Welcome to PTV World Special Transmission on the developing situation between India and Pakistan. And as of course we all know, and most recently of course the information coming in from DGISPR's press conference and the Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif's speech earlier today, it is important to understand what is going on with reference to of course the unilateral attacks by India, which of course has been met with a befitting response by Pakistan, in which 5 Indian fighter jets have been downed and a number of other drones have also been downed, which the DGISPR earlier was showing footage and pictures of. And this of course is something that has come in the aftermath of the Pahalgam attack, which India has used as a baseless foundation of these unilateral attacks. The DGISPR has made it very, very clear that the nation and the armed forces of Pakistan are standing by together with each other, and this is a blatant violation of international norms and traditions, also highlighting the 57 flights, commercial and domestic flights, that were in air during that time when this attack took place, and targeted a number of areas and holy places that were targeted, civilians that were targeted, and no terrorist camps, of course, that has been refuted. While of course a number of media, more than 150 media personnel of both national and international media outlets, were taken to these sites earlier today and have been shown with evidence the places in which India has attacked. And of course the DGISPR has also reiterated that Pakistan will be responding in a manner and time of its own choosing to this, and this is something that Pakistan reserves the right to do so under the UN Article 51. To talk more about this, of course, I've been joined in the studios by senior analyst Faisal. We've also been joined online by Farrukh. Faisal, I'll quick start with you first in reference to what we've just heard the DGISPR actually speak about. He has explained in great detail with pictures, with evidence, what has really gone on, and the fact that Pakistan reserves the right to respond. I want your take on this.
Yes, and obviously when we talk about whatever Lieutenant General Ahmed Sharif has highlighted today, DGISPR, I think this shows the recklessness on the part of India, how India under Modi is playing with the fire in the region, and that can ignite anything in the region. And I think when we talk about the attack itself, seven of the kids of the same family, and the youngest one was 2-year-old. If there is any shame left in India, they should come on TV and apologize to the whole world. Why I'm saying this? Because this kind of recklessness from Indian side is ridiculous. And then what they claim? They claim that they have hit the sanctuaries of the terrorism and the terrorist sanctuaries. There were women, there were elderly, there were kids as young as 2-year-old, and this is the madness which is being played by Modi and Hindutva ideology of today's India, and taking the whole region to the brink of collapse. This is utter madness, and this should be looked by the Western media as well, and this should be looked by the Western powers as well, that the country they consider as their ally in the region, a new ally in the region, which is India, what kind of games it is playing in the region and how it is bringing the whole region to a collapse just because of one reason: because they have hatred against Islam, because they have hatred against Kashmir, because they have hatred against Pakistan. And this hatred is actually taking the whole region to a brink of collapse.
Absolutely, and this is of course something that was highlighted earlier as well. And Farrukh, I want your perspective on this too, because we know that civilians targeted, we know that holy places were targeted, and the DGISPR also has clarified that, while of course Pakistan has exercised a lot of restraint in its response as well. However, he has also specified that under Article 51 of the UN Charter, we know that there is this right of a sovereign country to respond to what has happened, and that we will be responding in at a time and manner of our choosing. So I want your take in terms of how much of the ways in which we have seen this attack take place. We have taken the international and national media outlets to these locations and refuted with evidence what has been going on and the kind of claims that India has put forward to. How is it that the world and different countries are actually viewing the current situation?
Sana, thank you very much for the question. Before I actually reach that area, and I'm going to answer that question because it is important, let me first highlight how India should be viewing itself. And I'm talking about one thing that is the joke of the day. Remember last night, whatever action India took, it took in the name of justice for Pahalgam, the episode that took place. Now, amazingly, the investigation of that incident was given to an organization called NIA. And I hope that our producer can actually flash the document that was tweeted today by NIA calling people to actually produce some evidence regarding what has happened. So here is an organization, here is a country which has taken action against another country or has escalated dangerously while not even possessing any evidence at all. NIA, National Investigation Agency of India, today actually put out today 7th today they put out this notice, saying that if you have any evidence regarding Pahalgam, then you contact us on so and so numbers. So this is the joke of the century, this is the joke of the day. Now let us talk about how the world is viewing this. I think that if the world was actually buying India's propaganda, CNN at this time would not have been disclosing after talking to French intelligence officials that indeed they have found one Rafale to be downed. But then, Sana, something very interesting happens. You must have seen that tweet that has been actually put out by CNN's the major reporter, the guy who is actually in charge of investigating all this. But then Economist defense editor called Shashank Joshi, name should give you a clue, actually tweets and says, okay, now an Indian Rafale has been downed. Now we have to wait and see whether it was Chinese PL-15 that actually brought it down. Just look at the sleight of hand. Rafale is Indian, not French. But the other thing, PL-15 is not Pakistani. While Pakistan possesses it, it is Chinese. Why? Because it is a dog whistle. Whenever you mention Chinese, you can maintain your keep, and you can also keep on building on the anti-China paranoia in the West. So this is how India is actually manipulating the images, but it is not succeeding, Sana.
And Faisal, with reference to the ways that we have seen Mr. Donald Trump respond, we've seen the UN Secretary General respond, we've seen a lot of other countries calling for de-escalation, of course looking at the situation and looking at the Indian aggression that has been put forward unprovoked. This is something very, very serious in terms of how the countries are viewing India and its credibility. And we spoke about it even before these attacks took place, of how that's changing. But post these attacks, what do you think the view has been so far?
Well, obviously, when we talk about de-escalation, Pakistan wanted de-escalation since the day one. That is why Pakistan was presenting itself and wanting to, of course, talk to India related to this Pahalgam attack, very attack that both the countries, alongside with the other powerful countries, they can investigate. And as Farrukh has rightly pointed out, I mean, without any investigations, and now NIA is coming up with these kind of ideas that there was no one, and now we are, of course, going to find somebody, whether somebody was involved or not. And before all that, they have conducted this activity. I think the world now knows the realities, and that is why we are seeing the world has seen that Pakistan has, gave a befitting reply last night. And mind you, it wasn't the response to whatever India has done. Still, Pakistan reserves the right to respond, reserves the right to retaliate to whatever India has conducted last night. But whatever last night India was facing from Pakistan side, it was merely a defensive posture from Pakistan side. It should not be considered as Pakistan's resolve to whatever India has done. Pakistan reserves the right to retaliate, not once, twice. Why? Because there were two acts of war which were initiated by India at this hour. Number one, by blocking the waters and by hitting the Pakistan's dams. This is number one act of war which needs a reply from Pakistan. And the second one is, how dare India can ever challenge Pakistan's territorial integrity. And if India does so, then Pakistan has every right to reply, a befitting reply to India.
Absolutely. Farrukh, when we take a look at especially this provision in the UN Charter as well, and of course in the ways that we've seen this Indian aggression come in, the attack on the hydropower project, the attack while domestic flights were in the air, the attack on holy mosques and places, and the attack on civilian targets, all of this, of course, is an extreme violation of international norms and standards. And so I want your take in terms of when we talk about accountability or talk about how these countries are expressing their concern, is there anything more than that can be expected from these platforms?
Right, right, Sana. I think that there are more than one way to break an egg. And I think at this moment, when we are looking at the whole situation, Pakistan has, raised this issue. It has highlighted the matter to the world. I think if the international law and system still exists, they should be taking notice of whatever was said. But unfortunately, that doesn't seem to be happening, Sana, and that is a sad commentary. If Pakistan can actually prosecute the case against India, the way India has actually killed innocent civilians, including children, and look at the way Indian media was behaving. Their biggest anchor actually came on here last night and said, India, wake up to the good news. And then he says, continues to say, I hate Pakistan, I hate every Pakistani. So then that also shows you that Indians actually think that every Pakistani, even if it is a newborn by virtue of birth, is a terrorist. If that is their state of affairs, if that is their state of mind, then they will need to be given a slap to wake them up. Remember that in other aspects also, India seems to have done which is most cowardly. They have chosen darkness of night, and because there was Abhinandan case, they have actually chosen not to enter Pakistan's territory. Their pilots did not cross over. Why? Because they couldn't afford another Abhinandan. But look at them roaring on their television. So it is clear that India will need some kind of correction.
Right. Thank you very much, Farrukh, for joining us and being a part of the discussion. Thank you, Faisal, for being a part of this transmission as well. That's all that we have at the moment. We'll take a break from the headlines and, of course, stay tuned to B2B World for the latest developments.